Now we're recording. So I'm not going to go through all what I just said again, but we'll just kind of get into it and move on there. So let me share back the screen again. So at some point, I'm going to ask you to go to the course website today. So if you can do that right now as we're on Zoom, that'd be great. And I'm going to just walk you through what it looks like now. It looks different than it did before we went through whatever this is that we're going through. So notice that all the other weeks stuff have been taken out, and all we've got to look at now are our online weeks. So online week 1, week 2, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the rest of the course here. And there will be different things that we do in the framework of that course for each week. Some of them have been placed up there in those weeks already, and some of them have not. As I said, like the hot topic discussions, I haven't done anything with those just yet. Starting next week, we'll get into those hot topic discussions. Let me go back to our agenda for today. So you can kind of play around with that and explore the course website if you want to see what class is going to look like for the rest of the semester. I believe our last actual class is going to be on April 30th. I do not 100% know if we're going to meet by Zoom every week. I need to ask what the other PLC IIs are going to do. Potentially there may be some weeks where we're online only. I want to be consistent with the other PLC IIs as much as possible. So if they'll do that, we'll probably do that as well. How will you be graded? This is a full semester course. So I'm going to stop the share for just a second here. This is a full semester course, and so you all should have received the COVID-19 grade, or at least the email from me telling you about the COVID-19 grade. Whatever that grade was for you, technically, it can't go down more than 1 letter grade, and it can only go up. But I'm going to tell you flat out, I'm not going to probably take your grade down. This is an extraordinary time. Nobody that's alive has ever been through anything like this before. You know, your great-great-grandparents went through it in 1919 and 1920, but it was different even for them. So this is unprecedented, and you know, some of you may not have adequate access to internet. Some of you may have jobs that you've had to take in the wake of other stuff that's gone on. Some of you, you know, have responsibilities now at home that you didn't have before. So, you know, I can't expect you to always be here. I do expect you to always kind of check in and see, and I will always post the videos from our classes onto the course website. So if by chance you don't make it for class, then you can watch the video and kind of clue yourself in that way. Now, as far as like the hot topic stuff goes, my general plan is if you're here and we do a face-to-face Zoom and you're here that day, that you will not have to respond to anything, that you'll just do it face-to-face and we can talk about it as a class. I might ask you, if you're not here on a particular day, to check in with a hot topic by doing like a threaded discussion type of thing like that. But that would be only if you weren't here for that actual PLC II class that day. Does that make sense? So if you're here, you won't have any homework with the hot topic stuff. You may be asked to watch some videos. In fact, I know you will, that will also double as your observations for this semester. Remember, this class is also connected to the curriculum and instruction class, and you're expected to do observations. Well, the observations are actually embedded here in this course, okay? So let me share the screen again. We look at the modules. Like if we go to week 2, and you don't have to do it, I'll just show you here, but like it says, analyze instruction for personal response and clear model expectations. These videos will count as observations that you're doing for the course of the semester. And that's not the most ideal way to do that, but that's the way that I think that we've found that that's going to happen. So those videos will be embedded on this site, and you'll probably be asked to watch some of those in the framework of the weeks as you before you come to class. And as I understand it, those will also double as the observation videos for the curriculum instruction class as well. So that's how we're going to kind of get you through that, that time. Okay. Anybody have any questions about that stuff so far? Just the general basic outline of stuff. Okay. So again, I appreciate that you're here. I want to maximize our time as much as possible. Very rarely, if ever, will we go the full hour that we're slated to go. My goal is to kind of get us done in about half the normal time, and that'll also give you time to do the video watching that you need to do and various things like that as well. So let me go back to the share site here real quick. Okay, so here in just a moment, I'm going to randomly assign you to some small groups. And if you've called up the course website, you can go into Agenda for March 26th. And this is the small group check-in stuff that I want you to do with each other. There's a series of questions here. You know, who are you? Where are you? Very few of you are probably still in Maryville. Many of you have gone home, but I just, you know, I want you to check in with each other on that. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest, exactly how stir crazy are you right now? And right now, on a question of stir craziness, I can hear my children running around outside my office door here. I hope that you can't hear them, but I hear them. So we're going a little stir crazy in our house. And then we're going to set the scene for the rest of the semester with the work of Robert Marzano, John Hattie, a fellow named Phillip Schlechty, Bloom's Taxonomy, and then John Antonetti and Antonetti's Cube. So I'm going to ask you to talk with each other about what you know for each of these things. And with some of them, it may be absolutely nothing. Some of them you may have heard of, and like with Bloom's Taxonomy, maybe you can talk through that a little bit more than some of the other stuff. So I'd ask you to go to that portion of the course website. It's under Online Week 1. I'm going to randomly assign you to some small groups right now. And if there are, by chance, other people in the room with you and they happen to walk by the screen, that's okay. I've had cats walk by and dogs, and look at that young gentleman, and it's completely okay. This is, what are we going to do, huh? We got to live, and it's fine. Don't worry about it at all. Don't worry about it at all. So I'm going to break you into those small rooms. There are 19 of you. I'm going to break you into 5 rooms, so there'll be either 3 or 4 of you in each of those rooms. I will give you probably, let's do like 6 or 7 minutes in those small groups to kind of talk about all of those questions together. And I'll let you know when there's a minute remaining to kind of come back and be back here in the large group with each other. So I'm going to create those rooms. I'll see you here in a few minutes. And just for my own reference, like on a scale of 1 to 5, where are you at in stir craziness? You know, like a 5. That's us here. We're a little stir crazy. Yeah. I see. Yes. Definitely a 5. Definitely a 5. I think for the most part, we can still go outside. We have a backyard that we can go to and things like that. But I know there are those that don't have that option at this point. So I'm always mindful of that. And I hope that whatever you're doing, you're staying safe. That's the most important thing. So hopefully you were able to kind of start conversing about some of those concepts that we're going to talk about throughout the course of this semester here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to kind of run you through a basic introduction to what we call Antonetti's Cube, because that is going to be the lens through which we view the rest of this PLC II class. I'm going to, if you want to follow along, the images that are going to pop up here are not going to, I don't think you're going to be able to see them very easily. Like, so for instance, here's the actual cube. Give me a thumbs up if that's actually viewable. Can you see that? Okay, you can't. Okay, all right. So there's a practitioner whose name is John Antonetti, and in days past, we were very fortunate to have Mr. Antonetti come and do almost a 2 or 3 hour workshop about his cube. We haven't been able to do that for a couple of years. So Mrs. Baker, I think last year or the year before, did a rundown, about a 45-minute rundown of Antonetti's cube, and I'm eventually going to show you where to find that video so you can watch that. But I'm going to introduce you to the video, to the cube a little bit here, so it's not a complete mystery to you. Antonetti's cube takes the work of various researchers and puts it together. And if you can pull during your lessons as a teacher, when you design your instructions, if you can pull one thing from each side of the cube that you see, then in general, what we will expect to find in your classroom is a very effective lesson. So for instance, on this side on the front, you see personal response, clear model expectations, emotional, intellectual safety, and you can read the rest of those things. This side of the cube is based on the work of a man named Phillip Schlechty. You'll get a little more information about Phillip Schlechty as the semester rolls on. The top of the cube has 4 of the 9 high-yield instructional strategies from a researcher named Robert Marzano. I'm hopeful that in your curriculum and instruction class, you've at least skimmed the Marzano stuff so that you're somewhat aware of what he has researched. And then on the right side of the cube, you see synthesis, evaluation, analysis, application. Well, that's from Bloom's taxonomy. So if you're teaching your lessons, as you design your lesson plans, as you design your unit plans, if you think about each of these 3 researchers and you try to pull one thing from each researcher, again, what we say is that you are going to have a quality lesson. And again, we're going to try to lens the rest of this semester in this class through this cube. So for instance, look at the front of the cube and you can see Schlechty's work. And now we go back to the course website. Thumbs up if you can see the modules in the course website. We good with that? Okay. So for instance, on week 2, online week 2, April 2nd, analyzing instruction for personal response and clear model expectations. That's words directly from the front of the cube. And we're going to ask you to view lessons and look for those specific qualities, okay? Online week 3, analyzing instruction for learning with others and a sense of audience, and on. And you can read through that as well. Okay. And if you need more information about each of those things, Marzano, as I said, you should have seen it in the curriculum and instruction class already. Bloom's we dealt with, I think we dealt with that either in the ecology of teaching class or in the developmental foundations of teaching class. Hopefully you've seen it before. And then Schlechty is new, and we'll do more to introduce Schlechty to you here in the next couple of weeks. Now, on the not quite the very bottom of this online week 1 module, you see Antonetti's cube video. So when you click on that, this is the link to Mrs. Baker's presentation on Antonetti's cube. Okay, so that should be all there and ready and waiting for you. I think, if I remember right, I'll open it now. I think it's about a 40-minute video that I have to sign in to my Microsoft account. Well, I hope that is not a big issue. That is unexpected. If that becomes a big issue, you need to let me know, and we'll have to find some other way to post it. So yeah, the way that you would just send me an email via Canvas. If you try to open that video and you can't see it, send me an email through Canvas and I'll see if I can find another way to link that. The last time I tried that, that's not what happened. So I'm not sure why I did that. So hopefully that's not a big deal. But we also have a week before we need to really make use of it again. So sometime soon, like maybe just right after this class, see if you can access the video. And if you can't, then I will troubleshoot it and get you a new link, okay? Okay, so I've just thrown an awful lot of stuff at you here in the last 20 minutes, but I kind of thought it was necessary for me to do a lot of talking this week so that we can get our bearings for what we're going to do for the rest of the semester. Again, when we come back here next week, we're going to resume our hot topic stuff. I already have all the stuff that you've turned in, and it's just going to be one of those things pulled out, and we're going to do that, and that'll be the hot topic for next week. We'll also explore those videos, talk a little bit more about the cube. Hopefully you will have been able to watch Mrs. Baker's video by then, and we'll do some exploration based on what you've learned in that video as well. So for those that are stir crazy, I'm going to bequeath these last 20 minutes of what this class would normally be to you all, so that you can go out and run laps or do some push-ups or something, or escape to a different room. But in the meantime, please do stay safe. Don't be dumb. My experience with people in their late teens and early 20s is that sometimes they make rash and silly decisions. It also happens in your 40s, by the way, but more so in your teens and 20s. So don't be too rash in your decision making. Stay inside when you can, and just be safe. And we'll see you back here next week. Please do watch that. Try to link to that video as soon as you can. And if you do have issues with it, you got to let me know. And then if I have to, I'll find a different way to let you see it. Other than that, any questions for the good of the cause? All right, you guys be safe, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.